Hello, everyone, and welcome into this very special edition of the Earl Hall Show. I have a very special guest, Omegia Keeys, and she is a writer, director, producer, and the owner of About Face Media and Like a Boss Studio. She has authored 48 books. Oh my God, 48 books.
49 now. Yeah.
All right, 49 under various pen names and has 10 film projects streaming on multiple platforms. The Donors series is her newest release. And boy, do I have a lot of questions on that one. Welcome to the Earl Hall Show. Thanks so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I feel like I've just known you forever. So this is
Well, I mean, we've been in the circles, together. We see each other's posts on social media, and like I was telling you even before we went on camera, it's like it's just inspiring watching you grow the way that you have. And going back to, I mean, I know you're a vet, and did you foresee this coming way back then?
well, I started writing when I was in the military. So the book side of me, yes. Me being an actual filmmaker, no. But it's crazy because my very first writings when I was very young as a child, they were always in script format. I just didn't know it back then. But I used to put on, as a child, I would put on whole productions for my Star Wars action figures to go and fight the Barbie dolls, stuff like that. And I would literally sit there and make my cousins and everybody play along. This is your role. This is your part. This is this. So it has always been in me. But did I know I can physically do it? No, because even in high school in the very early 90s, in my communications class, like I was the person, like they told us, okay, you need to come up with a commercial. Okay, bet. I get it together, but I was never allowed to touch like the camera. They let the white kids run the camera, but they never let us run the camera. So if I'm looking at it as an aspect of I have to be the person on camera, did I ever see myself doing that? No, because I did not want to do that. But I found joy in creating those commercials and stuff like that. I wanted to be behind the scenes.
Which makes perfect sense especially for what you're doing right now, which obviously has been a long journey. And I know there's been ups and downs.
Yeah.
The first challenge that you had, I want to kind of understand that, because there was someone or people that told you, no, you can't do this. What was that
Yeah.
like? And you basically said, kiss my rear, and did it anyway. So what was that experience like for you to be told no and to overcome it anyway?
Well, I have to go back from there because I am somebody that my parents never told me that I couldn't do certain things. If it's something I want to do, I go out there and do it. Like I was a track star. I was the first person in my city to win state. Stuff like that. Like if I said I was going to do it, I was going to go do it. You can't tell me no. I'm going to figure it out my own way. So the first time someone told me no, and it wasn't a no, it was a, what are your credentials? Who are you?
Oh,
Who
there
are
it
you
is.
to be doing this? It was that. And I was like, oh, I'm about to show you who I am. That's where that was. Like, I could show you better than I could tell you.
Right. And I know that I'm probably assuming those challenges still happen even today.
Yeah, let me tell you something, Earl. Life has a funny way of reminding you who you are. On Friday, I lost my job with the company. And it's funny because these people didn't know this about me, but I only took the job because I wanted to film donors and I wanted to have this big budget to do donors.
Okay.
So I took the job, almost 3 years ago, just because, all roads lead to donors for me, even though I was filming other stuff. But it was so funny. They accused me of something on Friday, which was so silly, but I knew it was because I am a boss and I give boss energy.
Mm-hmm.
It was already some underlying stuff, so they just used it, and they thought that in this conversation that I would be humble, I would be quiet, and I was like, "Thank you. About time. You in my way. Move, get out my way." Like, I was like, "Huh, thanks. I was here too long anyway." Like, that's what they got from me. So, coming from that, like I said, it's still challenges, but it was like, please, I was trying to manage my film life around this job that I didn't like anyway, even though it was high pay. Everybody, like, it was the pay that kept me there, and that was it. And I'm fine. I don't need it. It was
There's this thing that people say, you may have seen it before, your paycheck is the price you pay to give up your dream.
Yeah, and that's what I was doing too much. It was I got promoted, more responsibilities on me. We lost a bunch of other people. So we lost a bunch of other people from the company. So I knew I was gonna be next. Like the targets are going from here.
Okay.
You know, you can see the algorithm, you can spot it on the human side without using a you know, a computer for some things. But
Yeah.
it was like it was funny because I had told my husband earlier in that week, I said, I'm gonna be gone by the end of the week.
Wow.
Wow. And I was gone on that Friday at 4:30. It was the best thing ever. I mean, I literally just finished editing a documentary today because I had
Wow.
my extra time back.
Okay.
Yeah, like so it was like, yeah, so there's challenges, but I'm solution driven and I use challenges as my fuel for my rocket.
It's, something that came up. I want to make sure I don't have no any extra stuff up here. Let me just go back. But I told you before we went on camera, it's like I'm so glad that the interview is today because of the post that you made this morning, with that. And so this is the post, right? They they didn't offer me a seat, so I built the whole damn table. Now
Yeah,
they're watching from the sidelines.
yeah.
That's boss right there. Right. So what really inspired this post that you put out this morning on Facebook?
Because those same people that fired me had a dinner meeting with, and someone was at this dinner meeting that I know that, you know, I work with these brokers of whatever. And one of the brokers had Googled me. And so it was about me being this big time filmmaker, which I don't see that I'm big time, but they apparently saw that I was big time. So they're telling my former employer that how great I am. And they had no clue that I was no longer with the company. So to
Wow.
come and find out, like it just rubbed it in their face, like,
How does I mean it? I see like a lot of pictures like with you and your husband. So I know he's heavily involved with what it is that you have going on. How does that dynamic work as a husband and wife team, really producing these films?
he doesn't help produce. He really stays quiet. He is behind the scene. He does not
Oh, he
help
knows
with
his
the
place.
cinematography.
Okay.
Yes, he does. But here's the thing. When we one of our first dates when we first met, because I have been married before, one of our first dates when we first met was I was helping someone else film their film project.
Okay.
And I told him to come on set because I knew that anybody that I was gonna be with, they were gonna have to be understanding that this is what I do. And so I had them one of our first dates was on set. Come to set, meet people. This is what I do behind the scenes.
And it makes sense. I mean, because the partners that we choose obviously have to buy into who it is that we are. And so many times, unfortunately, I've had this. I mean, Cyrus Webb, he and I talk. And so it's like we actually had a conversation about this today and how people get into relationships and they give up a piece of themselves for the I already know.
No, we don't do that. I did it before. Now, here's the thing though. With my first marriage, I did hold back a lot of me. I held back a lot of me, but and I don't and it wasn't so much it was the marriage, it was the people all around me. I was still active duty. I hid so much of myself. I was writing books, I had published books, but I was still hiding who, you know, I truly was, you know, playing small. And I could not, my soul could not take that anymore. And I don't necessarily blame that person, I also blame me. You know, people grow, people change. And it's like when I birthed my youngest son, I birthed this too at the same time because I wrote my first book. It was a rewrite. It's funny because I wrote my first book back in 2002. Somebody jealous got a hold of it, tore it up, whatever. Doesn't matter. I rewrote that book in 2006 when I was pregnant with my youngest son because I had a lot of downtime and I didn't know where else to put this energy. So I wrote. I didn't know it was going to be published. I was just writing. But yeah, it's just one of those things I've learned, you know, I had a lot of reflecting during that time that like, you know, my parents always told me I can be whatever I wanted to be. And it's so funny because I remember I don't know who it was, but I just remember them writing it in my high school yearbook that it was some poll that went around and I got voted to be the person most likely to succeed. And I was like, how? Like, I didn't understand what they saw But now I do. But whoever that was, they saw that at a very, very young age. And I'm so thankful for that because I believed them.
Well, that's all that matters. I mean, we're going to take a little short break here, but we're going to be right back with the amazing Omegia Keys right here on the Earl Hall Show. Are you taking care of your skin but neglecting your soul? Discover how self-care and skincare can work together to heal you from the inside out. In her new journal, Gratitude, U.S. Navy veteran and founder of Skincare by CMG, Natasha Norris, shares a 30-day guide to reflection, mindfulness, and nurturing routines designed to awaken your spirit and transform your skin. Born from her own journey of healing childhood trauma, Natasha's message is clear. Wellness starts within. Start your self-journey today. Grab your copy of Gratitude and experience the power of healing through self-care, mind, body, and skin. Struggling with dull, tired skin? It's time to unlock your skin's true potential with Ugly Essentials Fetish Ultimate Facial Cleanser. This exfoliating powerhouse gently buffs away dead skin cells, revealing a smoother, brighter complexion while deeply cleansing and detoxifying. Say goodbye to blemishes and hello to a radiant glow. Packed with skin-loving ingredients, your skin will feel refreshed, clear, and vibrant. Don't wait. Elevate your beauty routine today. Click the link and get your Fetish Ultimate Facial Cleanser now at uglyessentialsonline.com. Your content is drowning in an ocean of noise. While you're posting, your competitors are converting. I've watched hundreds of business owners create content that gets ignored. Generic videos that don't speak to their audience. That's why I've spent 15 years perfecting the art of scroll-stopping promo videos, custom scripts, professional production, built to sell on every platform. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and even paid ads. Right now, get your own professionally crafted 30-second promo video for just $97. Custom script, fast turnaround, designed to convert. Don't let your brand get lost in the scroll. Click the link in the description and let's make your business impossible to ignore. Amiga, look, before we went to break, we talked about so much and you shared so many things and we're really transparent about them all. When it comes to you reaching for the goals that you yet still have, you've attained so many of them and gone through so many different challenges to get to where you are right now. You mentioned the quote in the yearbook, most likely to succeed. You didn't believe that at the time, but now, what gave you that realization that that was prophecy?
Because when I finally moved to another area, I was in the military and I lived in many different places, but it wasn't until I started visiting Atlanta and being around other creatives and stuff like that. And it's so funny because I started working on film sets and I realized that I was way further along than I thought I was because I was self-taught with a lot of things. I realized that like they're giving these people millions of dollars and I was more creative than them. I was more talented than them and I had more knowledge than them. That was the most insane thing to me. Like, wow. So if they can do it, I darn sure can. And I have more, the creative side, I had more than they had in some cases. So yeah. And then when one of my writing ideas got stolen and ended up in an episode, that definitely told me.
Oh my goodness. The whole thing behind, the 49 books that you've written, obviously writing is a passion that you have. Did you like early on foresee, okay, the books that I write, these are the films and the movies that I'm going to produce?
Nope. It wasn't until I moved to Atlanta. One of my great friends, Diesel, who is an actor, back in 2012, he told me, he was like, you write books, you can write scripts too. And I'm like, really? You think I can write a script? I don't think I can write a script. And then I sat with it that night and I was like, let me figure out how to write a script. And so the next book that I wrote, I did write that with the intent to make it into a movie. And that turned out to be Keeping Secrets.
I believe that's the one I saw, the police and the
Yeah, it
undercover
was
in the
yeah,
gentleman's
it was
club and stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw
It
that
was
one. Yeah, that was good.
formerly Domestic Seduction, but then yeah. through time became Keeping Secrets. But yeah, that's the one that I wrote as a book and transition it over to film. But once again, it was because somebody put the idea in my head. And it's funny because he says he did it because he just, he wanted to have a role. And I didn't know, but I thought that that was like amazing. I took that idea. We laugh and joke about it like now, but no, he put the idea in my head. And I said, oh, okay, just like my niece put the idea in my head that I can go work on film sets. It was overnight. We were just sitting there talking, and she was like, no, I think you should submit for this, whatever. I was like, I'll submit, but I submit and went on about my day. Next morning, oh, you're expected to be on set at
Well, I mean,
yeah, it's crazy.
your latest project, which is actually out now on Amazon Prime, right?
Yes, this is
The
my baby.
whole look, vampires.
Yes.
Now, is this your first venture into this kind of genre?
No,
No,
this
it's
was a
not.
lot of people. No, this was my first book that I wrote. I didn't publish it, but this was the very first. These were the things that I was writing in high school and stuff like that. These vampire short stories and stuff. That's all like I love reading all of that. So no, it wasn't my first venture at all. I published Princess Donor in 2009, 2010,
Okay.
around that time frame. It was like my second book out. But that's the first one where I hid who I was
Uh,
behind. That's the first time I used a pen name.
a
But
pen
no,
name. Okay.
I didn't know how it was gonna, be perceived, black girl writing vampires. So,
Well, it's
I
got
hid
so
behind it, but the people at the book signings knew it was me because obviously I'm signing these books now.
yeah,
But
right,
they
right.
didn't know me for real. And by that time when you're buying a book, it's like too late. Hi.
Well, it seems like, I mean, especially like a sci-fi type genre. I mean, even though the movies that you produce, they're fiction except for documentaries that you do. This particular type of genre, like I call it horror or whatever, and I'm a scaredy cat and I won't watch. I
It's
don't watch horror movies because I
not as
can't go to
scary
sleep.
as though. It's not that. To watch it during the daytime, it's not. It's
See,
not.
see,
It's not gore. Scary. It's just vampires. I created these vampires to live in a world like it's normal world.
okay.
Yeah.
And with this, the whole thing with the vampires, and obviously there's story behind it other than just biting folks' necks. With that. And I don't want to give away the whole thing of the movie because I want people to go and watch the series and see for themselves just how amazing this is. And when you think about now, how does it feel to be on Amazon Prime?
No, this would be was it my 10th time on there,
Yeah,
but
but it's like that is
it
something
still
that,
feels like that first time. I mean, it's amazing, especially with this one because I work so hard. All roads lead to donors. This is why I became a filmmaker. So to get a series on there, I'm so happy, especially since they're pulling back kind of the reins right now on
mhm,
what they're allowing. I'm so thankful and I'm happy that the reception from it has been overwhelming. I mean, it is doing so well in the UK right now. I'm like,
really
what?
okay.
Yes, it is kicking butt. In the UK sales are beating the US sales right now.
All right, come on, USA. We got to bring this up here. So, I mean, when I think about filmmaking, which I absolutely know nothing about, with that, the sets, the lights, the cameras, the costumes, this is all beyond just the concepts of the scripts or the
Yeah.
storyboard, right? And pulling all those things together. If there's a young woman somewhere that's going to be watching this and watching you, what are the first steps that they need to take if they want to get on a path like you're on?
Google everything that you need to know. The path is a lot easier now than when I first began 10 years ago. Everything is at your fingertips. Google it. Ask Chat GPT, ask some AI, anything, and it can give you a list of everything that you need to know. And I will say, unfortunately, the way the industry is pulling back a lot on a lot of things. But once the industry is back up thriving, get on set as an extra and
Mm,
you will see so much like those experiences. I'm talking about the big sets. Get out there and see, so you'll know the difference between working on some major sets versus some indie sets that don't quite run as they should. I like my sets. I run my sets like I have $1 million and I don't. But just organization. But get out there and see. Don't come up asking me what should you do.
Yeah,
Get out
right,
there and
right.
figure
I'm
it out.
busy. I'm busy right now.
No, it's not even that. Like if you want to do something, do your
Go
research.
get it.
Yeah, do your research. That is the best way because my experience is not going to be your experience, but you should know aspects. If you want to be a filmmaker, learn aspects of filmmaking. Ask the questions online yourself. Do that basic research so you'll know at least what you're getting into. Don't send me a message in my inbox, be like, hey, I think you can help me with this. No, I can't. I have helped a lot of people along the way, but where I am now, I help my team.
There you go. I completely understand that. Well, Miss Keys, I thank you so much for being a guest today on the Earl Hall Show. Make sure everyone that you go Amazon Prime, donors, make sure you watch the series. Just, it's not even about, a lot of times we want obviously people to support what it is that we do, but look at the craft and look at the art that this woman is putting
Please, I
out.
put my heart and soul into this. This is the best work that I have done. It is, yeah. I
There it
sit back
is.
every time I watch it. I'm like, I can't believe we did that. We pulled it off.
Say, we did that thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, once again, Amiga, thank you so much for being here. And thank you. You're more than welcome. It's been my honor and my pleasure. First time us ever seeing each other like this, anyway, and actually having a
It doesn't feel
conversation,
like
which is
it
great.
though. Yeah.
And also to the viewing and listening audience, make sure, once again, Amazon Prime, donors, make sure you get it and watch it. And we'll see you next time on the Earl Hall Show. In today's fast-paced world, success often feels like a numbers game. Bank accounts, titles, prestige. But what if true success went deeper than that? I'm Earl Hall, author of Mind Your Business, a new book that invites you to look beyond just profiles and into what really drives you as an entrepreneur. Mind Your Business isn't just about making money. It's about understanding your purpose, overcoming self-doubt, and cultivating a mindset that's resilient and grounded. I've built this book on hard-earned insights, stories from my journey, and lessons from other entrepreneurs like you. This book will help you shift your perspective, ignite your passion, and align your business with what truly matters. So, if you're ready to redefine success, Mind Your Business is available. Let's take this journey together. Grab your copy and start building a business and a life that reflects your true self.